I'm going to call our meeting to order, the regular meeting of the City of Stanton, August the 10th, 2023. First item is to approve our July 18, 2023 special meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for that? Okay, a motion and a second. Okay, all in favor? Okay. Motion carried. Just a few, okay, we'll go to public comments. Anyone here for some comments? Public comments. Okay.
We moved here probably 3 years ago,
Okay.
roughly, and when we live in Oak Hill. When we bought the property, a realtor told us that we were outside city limits. And that's what we've been under the assumption since we lived there. And I do have a few chickens and a goat. And I got a letter saying that we were out of the ordinance, that was, against violation that had given us. And I was just out of curiosity, would you all be willing to revise that or change it? We're not trying to have a farm. We have one goat, and it is quieter than every dog.
Oak Hill right off the road.
Again, that was before me, the ordinance, right? The animal ordinance, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I never thought anything of it because, up the road of Horse Canal is a horse farm. And so we never were trying to get away with anything. We just,
Hey, guys. Thank you.
no, you're fine.
Go ahead.
We just, I would be willing, I would just ask you if you would be willing to change the ordinance.
Well, we have our zoning officer here tonight. Chris, you,
Well, I guess it's the will of the council, if the council be willing to look at changing the ordinance, if there's any interest in that at all, to allow.
I mean, I'm not asking for, that could be a limitation, like, we literally just want what we have there, like, I'm not expanding.
so what do you have again?
I have one goat and we have 9 chickens. And then,
9 chickens.
and I'm willing to, if need be, give it to chickens or downsize, I'm not being argumentative.
All right.
Whatever you guys want, we'll
Sure.
do.
Yeah, it's a new ordinance.
Well, let's see,
Correct?
Well, all I would say is that communities handle it different. Some, it's a flat restriction, no livestock or fowl inside the city limits, and ours tends to be, I think that's pretty much how we are.
Right.
There's some that'll allow a limited amount of, like, say, chickens or something like that. I don't know about goats necessarily, but like smaller livestock, but it depends on the municipality, and, it really kind of comes down to what you all.
Well, we actually, with the chicken thing especially, is we had such problems
Yeah.
with it being in the city and the smell and the neighbors, stuff like that. That's why one reason we started, because we had some real issues with,
I understand.
people not.
Was that after COVID or before COVID? Because I know a lot of people got chickens during COVID.
That was before, it's been about 4 years, I think, it was before, because it was like right in the city and they weren't,
They were free chickens.
yeah, just free
Open
roam.
range.
At least for
very
me,
contained.
at least for me, if we're going to put an ordinance together that addresses animals, let's be consistent.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I would say. And I understand kind of what you're wanting and your concern, but
So is this road in the city or is it outside the city?
It's in.
it's
We're right inside the city,
you're within the city.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're within, we didn't.
Where's Oak Hill?
It's off Maple Street, right past.
You know where Melvin Atkinson lives?
Oh, okay, yeah. Gotcha. All right.
Well, I empathize with you. The concerns I have, are that if you allow one, you have to allow everyone.
Yeah.
And then,
I understand.
I just want to say that out loud.
No,
And
I
then,
understand.
I don't know why we can't revisit that ordinance and look at it and see if maybe we could put some limits on restriction.
That's what
Or something like that. I don't know if we can do
No,
that,
that's fine.
but I would be open to doing that and revisit it, as long as we have some other rules in place, like if your neighbors started complaining.
Yeah, well, see, then
Or your chickens were real
Yeah.
loud and.
I get
roosters.
that. I'm not
Roaming
sure,
or whatever.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
who made the observation or complaint. Our neighbors, well, one neighbor, is on the other side of the property, and, we talked to her and we were very cordial. And the other one is very close to her animals. She walked over and feeds her animals, for all I know. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's, to my knowledge, we're not bothering any of our neighbors. But,
Did you get notice from the city?
Oh, yeah.
I sent a letter.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
We
But you
received-
didn't base that off a complaint?
No, we received a complaint, and so
You did receive a
so I
complaint.
investigated. I went out. I could see the goat from the road, and so
But you didn't receive a complaint from a neighbor?
I don't know who it was. I think that was one where I came in.
I don't
and
wanna
they-
name them, but-
No, but I came in and I think they said somebody had either stopped in or made a call and said that somebody had complained about it. You go check it out. So I honestly don't know who it
A lot
was.
of times it doesn't have to be a neighbor, it could be somebody just.
So maybe it's just more of a
Yeah.
notification
Well, it
versus
could be
a
somebody
complaint.
we may get rid of.
Probably.
Exactly.
Somebody we
But-
may get rid of.
Yeah, you made me get rid of my goats or my chickens, and
Right.
Yeah,
Maybe
remember they
they
made
have
you do
it.
so-and-so, now they're
They
doing it
don't
over
like
here
it.
or something. Yeah, so that's what we have to look at.
But I know I've had a goat before that's like a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a
But
goat that is like, I
that's
have
what it
crazy
is.
wild animals. I like to raise different animals. I am that person. I had a possum recently. So I'm just saying, I get it. I get as close. I've had several
Well, I mean-
raccoons, I've had skunks, I've had,
the goat is a dog to our,
Right.
to our boys.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's the
Is
thing.
it like a small goat or?
Medium size. She's
Not a
like-
big-
My sister's got 4 goats.
Yeah, she's not-
I had one that thought it was a dog,
Yeah.
you know.
There no way.
We had a big one on Hamlin
She's
Drive,
not
thought it was.
large.
Okay, so we're gonna table it and check it out.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion. I mean,
Yeah.
or do y'all think?
Chris?
Well, I was gonna say is, I mean, we could look at it and try to balance the concern about, you know, there being too much and too big an impact.
Yeah.
And we can look at things like a limit on the number,
Yeah.
which that comes
That's
down to
what I-
enforcement, and
that's
that's,
what I-
you know,
my argument.
but then also maybe look at like lot size, like you have to have a certain amount of square footage before you have livestock. And that way people would have, not livestock like cattle, but livestock, goats are considered livestock, so like small livestock.
Yeah.
So we could look at different ordinances and see if we can find something that would work to kind of balance the concerns.
And we'd have to balance it also with complaints.
Right.
Right.
Come from various
And
individuals.
it's always gonna come down to enforcement. If somebody's got
Right.
too many or there's a problem, which our nuisance ordinance also says you can't create smells and that kind of thing. So that could come into play as well. If it was, you know, you had the right amount, but you didn't take care of them, then we still got the ability to
Right.
address that through ordinance, so.
Like pigeons.
And 9 chickens, that's a lot of chickens. I mean, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
well,
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah.
from what I'm hearing, we'll revisit
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And, I guess we can give you an answer if you wanna give your name and address.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got it.
You got it, okay.
Yeah, we'll-
Oh, he's got it already?
Yeah.
So when we start doing this, is there a deadline? or-
So that's-
It's 10 days, and so he had contacted me, and I told him that if he wanted to come and talk to city council, then I would start tomorrow, it'll be his 10 days. If we're gonna revisit it and you all are okay with it, we can kind of give him kind of an extension,
Yeah.
or,
Until we reach
Till
a
we-
kind
till
of
we
a
figure-
decision.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna recommend, just so that you stay within your limits.
basically what I can do is change the complaint to a monitor status, where as long as nothing changes, we're okay.
Okay.
And then when we revisit the ordinance, at that point, if we decide not to change the ordinance,
Mhm.
then we may have to.
No, that's fair.
But that's why I was asking Chris if it was a complaint or a notification, there's a big difference in the two.
Right, well, so I received a complaint and gave him a notification that he had 10 days to comply with the ordinance.
But they didn't come directly to you and complain.
No.
And you don't know who did
Well,
it.
you're calling it a complaint, but
It's
somebody
not
called in and
technically.
reported it.
Yeah.
They said this is a complaint.
Yeah.
They did
Well,
say that.
No, I don't know.
Is there documentation, or did they call you?
Teresa or Joy one let me know that someone had said something about it, so I went and investigated. That's,
Yeah, usually when they are saying something about animals or whatever it might be in ordinance, it falls in almost the category of a complaint.
But if it was a specific complaint, like these chickens smell, or this
Right.
goat is chewing up my stuff, that to me is a complaint. Somebody saying, hey, I saw this guy has a goat in his backyard, and I don't think you're allowed to have them in the city limits, is different than somebody saying this goat is tearing up my yard and the chickens stink.
right, but then the result kind of is the same, because if I go out and
I
investigate
get it, yeah.
and verify,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
becomes
right,
a.
right, I mean, I get it, but
Right.
I wanna know, were they complaining or was it a notification? You know what I'm saying? I'm just kinda,
Yeah,
I think that's kind of,
I don't know
It's
exactly
just
what
a
the
softer
nature
way
of
of
It
saying
is,
a
yeah.
complaint, that's all, yeah.
I
Okay,
was my man.
anything else?
That's all.
Okay, all right. Okay,
I got a complaint, made a suggestion.
Chicken
But
and
you have
goats.
After I got my blacktop, I didn't think I'd ever have a complaint again. And I understand. But my neighbors have a swimming pool and they use a lot of water. Well, of course, I was gone for a month and my bill come in and said I used 0. Well, I find it hard to think that I should be charged for sewer, garbage, and water when I wasn't even there. And why send me a bill for 0, but yet charge me all them amounts? Now, it seems to me like too, maybe, that you all maybe could have a schedule or something for how many gallons used and charge according to that, or, you know, I don't know, but it seems like there ought to be something done. Well, if you're an old woman living by yourself, you surely don't use much water. And I paid the same amount this month that my neighbors, I only had about 24 cents difference in their bill. There was a swimming pool and a family over there that uses water. So I don't know what's the best issue for all of this, but I'd like to see something like that. Because I'm surely not the only one that gets a big bill and hasn't used much water.
Yeah, well, it's because there's a
Pay for
2,000
the
gallon
service.
minimum.
Minimum,
Yeah.
yeah, pay for the service.
Yeah.
yeah, the minimum, and anybody gets charged is 2,000 gallons. Whether you use 500 gallons, I only use 1,000 gallons basically at my house, I'm single there, and I get charged for the 2,000.
Me too.
That's the minimum charge,
But is it not a,
I pay the same thing as you do.
yeah,
Exactly.
maybe two.
well, I imagine everybody does from what I'm finding out. But it seems like there
Well,
ought to be-
I'm a single woman and I pay the exact same thing as you do.
Mayor, why is there a 2,000 gallon?
That's just the way it's
Yeah,
always
That's
been.
the way it's always been, from what I understand.
Up to 2,000 gallons, one price.
Yeah.
And then
That is
it's for each additional thousand.
It's like the electric
So you-
gas thing too.
Yeah, so you don't get charged, if you use under 2,000, you get charged a certain rate. But if you use over, that's when it starts adding to your bill. So
Right.
basically, it's not
If you
saying
use
you get
over
2,000 for free, but it's 2,000
I
up
know
to this
them
point.
get it free, but.
Right, but you get so much of it. Then if you use over 2,000, your bill's gonna go up, because I fill up a swimming pool and, you know, and I do things like that. So mine goes up when I do my swimming pool.
Well,
It usually is pretty much the same every month.
I know, I just don't think it's fair.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, I have
Anyone else?
something I'd like to kind of add to that. So, I actually came in and talked to Teresa last week. I'm looking at having a water softener and water purifier put in our house. And as part of that, we went down and we looked at our water meter thing, okay? It is, you can't see it because it's so full of mud, but you can tell that the cap on top of it is like flipped up. And honest to God, I don't know when they've ever, it doesn't look like it's been disturbed in a millennium. So I don't know, I'd like to have somebody come out and take a look at it, because I think there's something wrong with this.
Yeah, we can put in a work
Because we
order.
have hideous pressure, I mean like no pressure.
Really?
Are you on the hill?
Check your pressure, I don't know.
I know, but I don't think it's been done because it still just looks like nothing.
But it doesn't take long for those to fill up when it's raining, because mine will, every once in a while, we'll be behind. My husband will say, you reckon we've got a leak? And he'll go out there and he'll have to dip and rub it all off and it'll be clean, and you could go out 2 weeks later if it's rained and it's.
Well, that's probably.
And I've seen them use a big long tube that they put on and look down through it. without-
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's probably what's going on with it.
Yeah.
Although it's weird because the one that's right next to it isn't like that.
What's all running into yours?
Yeah.
You're just got that suction grinding over there.
So do you want us to look at it?
I would like to have somebody take a look
Okay.
at it, just for,
Appreciate
before I put all this other stuff in my house,
Okay.
I'd like to have it checked.
Yeah.
So on the work orders, is it still like it used to be, is that if there is nothing wrong with it, you're charged a service fee, but if there is, there's not a service fee, is that correct?
We had.
Yeah.
No.
And
The only way
And-
that we don't,
is there any way that you can let me know that it's been looked at or not? Maybe they did come and look
Yeah,
at it. I don't
because they
know.
always sign off on them.
Yeah,
So you might check, maybe they did already.
I'll check.
Okay, thanks.
I'll let you know.
talk about it when we go out and look at a leak. We don't charge to fix if it's on our side.
Is that what you're telling me?
No, Mom had something one time and they charged her, she says, which I'm
All right, we'll leave it at that. Anyone else tonight?
That'll be $200.
Thank you so much, we appreciate that.
Oh, I have something. They're back, I think it was around 2014. Strange Street was known as Indy 500 because of all the drug activity and stuff down there. And Paul Pelfrey worked diligently to get a speed bump put in at the corner of Strange and Molly B. For some reason, it has disappeared, and I want to know if the city took it up.
Yeah.
And I want to know why.
Basically, we had a couple of, the families that were there, were asking, well, first of all, what happened is somebody drove a vehicle through there and they must have hit their brakes or something. And when they did, they jarred that completely loose.
There's no way, it has spikes that go down.
I know.
No,
That-
it pulled them out, and they were sticking up
Yeah.
out of the road, it was.
And so we didn't take pictures, but it was completely out and the spikes were sticking up.
How
So
fast
we-
did that vehicle have to
I
go
have
to do
no
such a
idea.
thing?
I have no idea.
Or it was already weak.
Well, what happened, I think, is they were going fast and they saw that speed bump, it might have been at night. No, it was in the daytime, yeah, it was because they called us.
Well, they found it in the daytime.
They
They
found
came
it in
out
the
that
day.
morning and saw that it was pulled up and they were
Yeah.
sticking up. And actually, the one homeowners there were out standing in the road when we got there,
Yeah.
like keeping people from driving over.
Yeah.
I wanna say we've had trouble with that before coming
Yeah,
up.
well, see, he had that one put up, I mean, he like to never got the
Mhm.
city to put that down. I mean, y'all, it's
Are there
bad
any kids
there.
in that area?
Yes, and it's bad. So last year, I finally rallied and got everybody on board, and we got the ones put on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they passed that one, they would fly down that straight. Chase Friel wrecked his cruiser flying down through there, flipped the cruiser at the other end,
Okay,
literally.
I have a question. I mean, are we part of public comments? Are we allowed to comment publicly if this is, or since you're a city council member? Or should we table this and put it on the agenda at some point? I think it should be put on.
You all can discuss anything you want.
Oh.
Anything, okay, I didn't know, I mean, I'm just trying to learn.
At a regular meeting, you can discuss anything.
Oh, good,
Whether it's on the agenda or not.
Oh, you're kidding, okay, good, oh, well, there we go, all right, well, I have a lot to discuss then. Okay, I was just curious if we had to put stuff on the agenda. If we
That's
were
on a
gonna-
special meeting.
Just on, just
Regular
a regular meeting, we can have public comment. I'm glad that is clarified.
So, anyway, on the other end, like I said, Chase didn't even wreck his cruiser going down there too fast. So we finally, last year, they put one at one end and one at the other end, because once they passed this one side, they were flying up there beside Regina Parks, where she come to the city multiple times trying to get one put in front of her house. So we got those at that end. Well, now they're back flying down this straight stretch again. So since that one has been pulled up from the city.
Just straight down, they're going, I mean, what's the speed?
15.
I know, but how fast are they going? I mean,
Since
because
I've
there's
been out there
there's an
talking,
immediate
I don't know.
curve there.
Yeah.
If they go too fast, they're
It's
gonna go
more
right to
than,
the
it's
door.
more than 90 degrees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It don't
amazing.
take long.
Yeah.
Well, it
Go
wasn't,
fast as
it
they
wasn't
can.
so much a, hey, we're gonna take this up, it was more, it was a hazard at the time, and
Yeah.
so.
We'll have to,
Can it be
We can always
reinstalled?
Replace it, I mean, buy one.
we'll have to look at it. We'll have to look at
Get
it.
a new one for it.
But it was, I mean, the rebar was sticking out.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it was, that's the reason we took it up.
Yeah, cause it wasn't like a,
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
like what had happened, I just.
Right, it's like that hard, dense rubber with rebar
Yeah,
spikes.
if I'm gonna do one of those, I'd rather do it in the
I think
road.
Dixie, you probably remember when we stuck that there, they would park all down the side of that road and kids were coming out in between those cars.
yeah.
So they were parked right against that and the kids could easily come out in there and that's why we slowed them down.
Yeah.
But that was the complaint
Yeah.
then,
I
was
don't,
more of how they parked all the way up the side of the, so
Yeah,
whether they're
front
doing that
yards and stuff.
anymore, I don't.
I don't go down there very often, but and part of it is I don't like those speed bumps, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of them either, because I live down there, but,
Yeah,
you know, they walk a lot from Kroger's, they'll take that as a shortcut,
yeah.
and they go around and go out to Power Village and all
Yeah.
them, you know, and they use that, they walk a lot.
Yeah.
down that road.
My only concern is that I think almost every street we have, there's probably kids. And if somebody comes to us and said they want those, then we've got to at least consider it. So.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed on Railroad Street, but they wrote with spray paint.
Yeah, yeah, at the end, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I know. Oh, I've noticed that,
Yeah,
yes.
uh-huh.
I've been down there several times. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, move on to just my report, just pretty simple, really. We've been cleaning up the city. July and August, we've taken off some time because pretty much heat out there. It's pretty hot, but we're hoping that we'll be able to pick that up in September. If not, we'll probably need to discuss, some maybe alternative. I think we are seeing some good things, with regard to the trash and debris and those kinds of things. And I think the city is looking a little bit better because of the crew that goes out, as well as others that do it on their own. And we do have several that do that, and that's always a
I've
good
seen
thing.
some jail, I've seen some people at the jail picking up things. Have you
Mhm.
seen, I've seen them.
Yeah, they've been out.
Mhm.
Inmates.
The inmates have been out. The county's been helping us by
Right.
cutting the grass and stuff, and we need it as fast as, as much as it's raining, as fast as the grass is growing. So we're doing our best to, spruce up the city. Again, pursuing financial grants, that's it's an ongoing process. And the one that areas we were been talking with Chris about cleaning up Judy Creek, and I just got a letter that they do have some grant money available. So Bluegrass Ad is going to put that in for us, and hopefully we'll get some money and be able to at least get it started, and maybe along as we go along, we'll be able to do more. Again, I just cannot give you a date on Main Street and 213 as to when they're actually going to get done with everything up there. But when they do, we're going to be putting up our new street lights, and then the old ones, they're going to be converted into LED. So we've got all that, and as soon as that's done, we'll be focusing in on that. I'm also in contact with state and federal officials concerning our needs within the city. We have another meeting on Monday with regard to some possible assistance, and I was looking for that because we have quite a few needs as a city, and we want to focus on that. The Pendleton Street water tank, we are still in the process of getting that fully repaired, but hopefully, we just continue to persevere to get that. I talked to our engineer today. The East Elkins Street sidewalk is one step closer. In other words, it went from Jackson to Frankfurt. And so if Frankfurt can give us the approval, which may take another, who knows what, there's a couple that's got to go through, but when they do it, then they put the money in and, we can put it out to bid. So I thought that was just humorous to be able to go from Jackson to Frankfurt and everything. But other than that, we just continue to obviously look ahead to what we have in the future. Okay, the next one, we're going to skip the motor vehicle tax rate till a little later on. Zoning Commission recommendation, we have one, and I think you guys have received information on that. That's Arthur Ashley. He works as a firefighter here in Lexington. He's a Powell County native, and he's our floodplain coordinator. So if I could have a motion
Is he gonna be the floodplain coordinator?
He
Or
He's
He
already-
the whole county.
Oh, okay.
And we talked to Scott about that, and ethically and everything, it's
We're
okay.
okay on that. You're requesting he be appointed as a member of our.
Yes,
planning
members of the
zone.
planning commission.
That's not paid, but he couldn't be paid. Or-
They do receive some compensation. How much is it?
Yeah, planning commission get,
Oh, they do, okay,
yeah,
they do,
get
oh,
some,
okay.
yes.
If they
He
don't.
does
made that recommendation.
If they-
Okay.
He'd be replacing Paul Mallory. Paul had to step down because of potential conflict of interest with his new job.
Yeah.
So he stepped down from the planning commission and the board of adjustment, so we're filling that vacancy.
Well, with him being on floodplain, that would probably be a good,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he
Yeah.
has knowledge of stuff already without having to, you know.
Who made that recommendation?
I'm just asking for a motion. All right, and a second.
I'd say,
All in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next is the Board of Adjustment recommendations. We have two of those. Eric Broom, he's lived in Stanton for 7.5 years on Hill Street. He moved here from Tampa, Florida. He works as a quality insurance specialist with InfoCubic doing background investigations for pre-employment purposes. He desires to join the board to learn more about the city and its processes. Do we take each of those individually? Okay. We have a motion for
we
Eric
appointed
Broom.
two. We
There will be
both of those.
two, no, we're only doing one at a
Okay.
time, yeah. Board of Adjustment recommendations, Eric Broom. And the
No,
motion.
I don't know.
Don't know
I don't know anyone.
Okay.
I'll make
All right, in a second. Okay. All in favor? Okay, any opposed? All right. Ruth Jones lives right down the street here, right on Court Street. She retired from construction management as a consultant on nuclear power plants with her husband. Served on the local school board in Washington State and settled in Powell County to be close to family.
I'll make a motion.
All right, a motion. And a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna table the I&I project contract, phase one. Received a call about an hour or so ago from Paul Nesbitt, our engineer, and there's some details that need to be worked out, so we'll table that for the time being.
Do we need a motion to table? Scott, or do we?
You know, I think parliamentary procedure wise, but generally we just say table it. unless there's
Just
an
table it,
objection.
okay.
As long as let the minutes reflect that it's tabled, no, there's no objection to it, so.
Okay. Your next item is the pay scale ordinance. You should have that. It's right there before you. And,
If you guys want to pass this around, this is a markup of what they were and what they are now. And the reason for this, I think some of our salaries have gotten greater than what our pay scale said they should be, so we have to correct that.
right. And it's on the last page. If you want to look on the last page, you'll see the changes that have been made. Which one?
I'm just making sure it's.
Okay.
We have to do this by ordinance, so this will be our first reading.
Right. Everybody looked at it? Any questions? Okay. Have a motion? All right, a motion, second. Still reading, got a second, all right. All in favor? Okay, so we have a first reading on that. We'll do that in September, the other one?
Unless we do special meeting.
Okay, perfect. Okay, two items on the amended budget. The one, I talked to Paul, even though we're not able to discuss fully the I&I project contract, he did say go ahead and amend in our budget, we have the I&I sanitary sewer area expansion grant, which affects airport area. Under it is 1,143,728, and it needs to be amended to 1,312,500. Is that right? I'm sorry. My fault.
What's the difference in it?
About 200,000, difference.
Hang on. I don't know why I forgot that number. I said it no.
1,312,500.
Yeah. So 1,312,500.
We raised it 200,000 or lower.
Well, they raised it.
They raised
Yeah,
it
they raised it.
200,000.
Yeah. Well, it's something like that. That's what is going to be coming toward the project.
Okay. They gave us more money. Okay.
That's,
We're adding this to the budget. I just want to make sure I'm
Yes,
clear. We're
yeah.
adding about
Correct.
200,000 to the budget. We're not, okay, just making sure I'm clear.
correct. At the
But
request.
always
At the
remember,
re-
take that out of your final number, your budget.
Right.
It looks like you're doing great.
Yeah, you
No,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's already spent.
Yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, it's, I understand.
And we
it's
also
gone.
have to do the appropriation, right?
Yeah, we'll have to do a budget amendment to reflect the money coming in.
Right, and going out.
Appropriation.
That's what we're doing.
So we're just doing one amendment, is that the money coming in and money getting spent?
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
so you can see down there at the appropriations, it's the same.
Okay,
So we'll need to change that from 1,312,500, okay?
all right.
So let's go ahead and
Make that
Is that a motion, okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? All right, motion carried on that. Okay, the next one, and Chris is gonna be addressing this for us, asking for a proposed amended budget for planning and zoning. I think everyone had received a copy of that, or do you should have had it sent to you? Okay, you want to pull that up? Chris?
So when I started this year, I came into the office and basically all the records, everything in planning and zoning is paper. There's a little bit on the computer, but nothing really digitized. So part of what I've been doing is I started to scan and put in permits and that kind of thing into the computer. But it's basically sitting on my computer locally, and so if something happened to that machine, it's gone. So we don't really have a good, part of it is record retention, part of it is being able to search the records. Part of it is, somebody came in and said, I'm looking at buying this property, can you pull up all the information on it? Somebody did an open records request. I have to physically go in through the file cabinet and try to find it. And basically, the way it was organized in the past is there's a folder, it'll say zone change and the name of the person who requested it. It's not tied to the address. So then I have to go through every folder to find the address. So, and I had somebody yesterday ask about a potential zone change on property, and I'm like, it's gonna take me a little while. When I do code enforcement, so if I get a complaint and I go out and investigate, I have created an Excel spreadsheet to try to keep up with that, but then I keep a Word document for notes, so I keep up with what's going on. I dump the pictures in a folder. So this is very, very outdated. And so I started looking into permit and case management programs, and I came across this company, iWork. I've actually looked at another company called SmartGov as well to get a price comparison. And iWork seems to be, for the quality of the program, I've gone through a couple demos with them, for the quality of the program versus the cost, it seems to be the best. The SmartGov was about $10,000 more on top of what the iWork, what I'm proposing for that. The other thing that they can do, they have modules to their program. So the first program that I was looking at was the community development, which has the permit and case management and the code enforcement, that part where we just kind of, they'll pull in the PVA data, and so when I get a complaint, if I'm out somewhere and I see a problem, I can click on the property on my phone, it'll pull up, I can create a case, and it'll generate a letter, and so it just automatically does all that once we get the upfront setup done. Then, so that's one huge benefit. We have all that, like,
So every address, I can call them,
Right.
tell me when
right. And I'll be able to cross-reference, I can look to see if there's a building permit, I can look to see, like what the history is on the property. The other great thing about that is you can all have access to it. Once we have it in place, you get a login, anybody can pull up that information, see that history. You could file a complaint, you could look at the property information, and it's not giving like personal information out, it's no more than the PDA has. And it wouldn't be for public consumption, but, within the city, we could share that login information and have access to it. It could work for, potentially for, the maintenance guys if they see something, that kind of thing, if we get that far too. The other thing that they have is a payment processing module, which currently, as you all know, we only take credit cards and debit cards for the water bill. And so this could allow us to take online payments for almost anything, credit card payments for more than just the water bill. And then we're looking at trying to see if we can migrate the business license and property tax into the same platform. Because the one we have now, we just went through the renewals for the business license, and the program is old, it crashes all the time. The tech support guy is really cranky that I even call him up and want him to close out the year and start the new year. And so this could kind of streamline everything. The total cost of all of this together is going to be more than our business license and property tax, but we're also going to save on that approximately $800 because their module for that is cheaper than what we're paying. Now, the total package is more, but we're adding more functionality to all that. So that's kind of a nutshell. If you have questions about any of it, the guy said he could do a demo.
So what's the total cost?
12 the first year.
So there's an implement, the first year, there's a greater cost, it's $12,500. That's just the first year, and they basically go in, we migrate all the old records over, which will be me scanning more stuff. But that's them setting it all up, and then after that, it is, $7,500 per year. We're paying, what did we say, Teresa? Is it
25.
They're paying 25.
Oh, we're paying 3,000 or.
Yeah, $3,350.
For all.
$9,000 more.
It'll be at $4,150 on a normal year.
Right. They want a 3-year contract.
4150.
So,
The difference.
and then if in 3 years we decided it was too much money, was the benefit, which I think it will be. I think once we go, we'll stick with it. But they renew it on a 3-year contract. Where was I going with that thought?
I have a question.
Yes.
If, like, say people do pay their bills online, I'm all for paying things online because, like I said, I was bringing checks tonight and left them at home. I want to pay things online, everything I can. Would there be a fee that the company keeps? Or would there be a fee for paying it online for us, like a $2 processing fee to help us make back money on this? Or would it be their money?
He told me that, and I don't remember.
So it would be the company, we're paying them $4,000 or $5,000.
This company, I don't think they collect.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying.
Like they do when they pay their.
The water bill,
Water.
we don't get that.
We don't.
Right, the
The-
processing fee, yeah.
Yeah, you mean if they use credit card.
So this company,
debit card.
we get the processing.
I think any payment processing company is going to collect
Right, well, yeah.
some type of fee.
I just wasn't sure if there was any way for us to make any money off of this, I'm like, if we're gonna pay $4,000 extra a year, then and Teresa processes stuff, I mean, where does the but.
Well, what I would say is there will be a greater cost, but then also the benefit is that we're going to be more efficient. We're not going to lose as much time and energy and all that in paper and.
I'm all for online stuff, I'm all
Yeah.
for it, I think it's worth every
How do we
penny,
get, how do
but
we get to where we can, will this help us get to where we can, this won't do water bills? We gotta get to the point where we can automatically come out of.
he said it would.
He and I have been talking back and forth the last couple days.
Well, you can do
I
that.
know, I'm not.
I think,
If we pull up and use a debit card, I'm sorry,
yeah,
that we don't get,
He left out our part.
but we always have,
it's 5 or 6
$10
steps.
extra.
it's $3, ain't it?
Yeah.
$3.
$3 per 100, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that everybody?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. If you do
I
200,
mean,
it's
they charge
$6.
you that? Sure,
It's
charge
cheaper to
me.
And I apologize,
America, just kidding.
I don't remember the details on the payment processing, but I can get that if you want it. But there was something where it was, there is, I think there is a fee like per transaction. But it's for that payment process. They don't actually do the payment processing, it's built into their module. And there's something else they use to get through it.
Chris, just so I understand, the current budget's 49,000, is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you know, and maybe you don't, do you know how much of that 49 we average annually spending within that budget? Are we usually under, or is it?
Do you know that?
I'm sorry.
We have been under when we had Ann because her hours will fluctuate. But where he's
Full-time.
full-time and he's a steady full-time, I think we'll be right at. But, so it'll have to be something we'll have to take from another.
Well, we are
And-
factoring
Yeah,
the
that was my next
$850
question.
savings.
Yeah.
You did.
Is where do we get the
Yeah.
money for?
Well,
Pick up the
But
difference?
if you look,
The first year will be the bigger one, because you gotta
Right.
pay that
Right.
extra $5 grand.
and then we're going to look at the planning and zoning fees in a minute, so that will bring in.
I will say too, part of this is the business license management. That's a big, the business license and the occupational tax and all that. So it's not all planning and zoning. So some of that.
Some of that could come out general expenses.
Yes.
Right,
I think
right,
we-
so-
Teresa and I talked about that. yeah.
Right. And then the other thing, and I don't mean to make this sound like I'm being overly aggressive with it, but I am trying to make sure that I capture any, construction without a permit, any kind of fees that we might have lost in the past. It's not a whole lot of money, but I am trying
Yeah.
to catch those things, like just anything planning and zoning related that people should be doing and should be paying for. I'm on the alert for it. So
Like building a fence.
business licenses, fence permits, building permits,
I didn't know.
subdivision, if somebody starts subdividing land and they do it without going to the city. I mean, those are the kind of things
Yeah.
where we would get that revenue, and I don't think we've got much of that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be,
Anytime we have to add some additional money to the budgets, I'm most concerned about where we're gonna get it from.
Sure.
right. No, that's understandable.
And here's another thing, after the 3 years is up, it's minimum 3-year contract for 7,500. So after the 3 years, and we love it, and we get used to it, and then they bump it up to 10, like, what does it look like their average raising their prices every 3 years?
They base their fees on population, so
Okay.
if our population stays the same, the fee is supposed to stay the same.
Okay.
You get a signed contract or anything?
Yeah, this, they actually have a contract that the mayor would sign if you all approve it, and,
So when you get a license, is there a limit on the users of that license?
I think once we're set up, it's just you have a login, like there's no like seat limit like it would like with different software programs. So basically we could, and he'd also mentioned that like if we want to do a training to train people how to, interface and use it, then they could do on the screen and do like a remote training, which is basically the demo that I went through. And it was pretty good. Their tech support seems like every interaction I've had with them, they seem very, very easy to work with and
Not cranky.
not
Is
crazy.
there like a YouTube video that you watched, or is this did somebody go through it with you?
It was kind of like a
live?
Zoom.
Yeah,
like a Zoom,
okay.
Yeah,
Just
but
curious
I
if
can
there's a
see
link.
if they've got something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I know when I was paying the business license, trying to, he said, it crashed again.
Yeah.
Tried again, tried again, he said, come
About
out
for $9,000 more
Yeah.
than what we already paid, that's
What-
something we need hands-on training, I would think.
This is all
Teresa's had a crash.
this is all cloud-based as well. So if there was some catastrophic event where we lost all the computers, we wouldn't lose that data. And that's the other thing, the record retention thing that doesn't get talked a whole lot about. We are statutorily obligated to maintain our records. And right now, if something happened to that room, we've lost all of our planning and zoning records, and that would be
well, like a fire or anything.
Right,
you
right.
be gone.
right. So
My suggestion would be move it out of general expense and into miscellaneous. Cause that's the only thing I know of that we've got. I don't
What do you
say
mean,
for
say it again
line item 15022 under general expenses.
now? Yeah,
We could amend that and put the 12.5 in zoning.
Well, he said park could come out, Loin and Park could come out, something else.
Well, right now, he's got nothing for the 12.5. We didn't give him anything.
Right,
yeah, that's what it's.
okay, but didn't you say there was another, I don't know, I might have missed it, that could come out of
General.
Yeah.
general, but there was something.
Well, part of it is used for the business licenses.
The business, right, okay.
Right, and that generates,
Yeah, so whatever people pay in for the business license.
We got 76,750 in general for
Is that
general
what that just
expenses.
got
So
there?
I would say we take that 12.5 and then you're still.
Still remember, we got planning and zoning fees.
You throw a bit
Right,
more
right,
in.
that's what I'm
Okay,
saying, yeah.
yeah. So I think, is that
That'd
what
be
you?
my suggestion.
Well, you're gonna make a motion on that?
I will.
Okay.
We need another amendment,
Another reading?
since it's 12.5.
You may know if you split the cost between the two funds, if you don't transfer one into.
Do we need to transfer it?
I don't know if you do. If
Okay.
basically.
Well, I just made,
Yeah, we just
basically,
shifted.
I just made the motion that comes out of that account.
If you're using two funds to pay for it and you're not.
Yeah, we're not increasing it
I
either.
just make the motion that comes out of that line item.
That's probably the
About
easiest
that
way to do it.
22.
Did you get it? I got a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
let's look at the zoning fee schedule. Again, this is, Chris may have to answer some of that, but you can see the current as well as the proposed. And each of them are going up. Some a few $100s, others in the cents category, so.
None are more than 50%. Or,
Yeah.
None went up more than 100%.
Yeah, that's what
I didn't more than double anything.
Correct. Yeah.
So that is for if I want my property rezoned, if I was asking for mine to be rezoned, is that what that
Yeah.
means?
Yes.
Or permits,
Anything.
conditional use permit. And I will say I did keep the conditional use, and the variant, well, no, the variance went up a little more. The conditional use and the administrative appeal, we get a lot of conditional uses, and it's people who, a lot of times it's home occupation, they're putting a business in their home or something like that. So I didn't wanna overly raise that with too much. And then the administrative appeal is basically, if I make a decision, I approve or I deny somebody a permit, or we deny a rezoning, and they want to appeal, that's all that is. And so that one's almost more of a formality, and in some cases, it would prevent somebody from wanting to appeal. And not that I want people to appeal my decisions, but we shouldn't prohibit them from
Yeah.
doing that.
Some of them are only a $5 or $10 increase.
Right, well, yeah, and like the basic permits, the fence, sign, residential addition, those kind of things they don't go much up. And that's what most average people are gonna be paying for. It's the developers who are gonna pay a little more.
Yeah, not too much.
Well, basically, developers would pay a little bit more if they come in to do a rezoning or a subdivision plan or something like that. And then I added, we currently do not have any kind of separation out between a building permit that's new construction, an addition, or a remodel.
Mhm.
And I just kind of graded those out a little bit, so and part of that is setting us up for, if we can get a building inspector at some point, the building inspector would collect some of those fees. I think is how we'll end up doing it. I'm not sure exactly, but that's.
I guess I'll ask the council, when was the last time we had any increase in
I
planning?
don't
and zoning
ever
fees?
remember us doing
I don't
that.
ever
Do you ever
remember.
remember it, Tommy?
The last 3 years.
Must not been in the last
Yeah,
16,
well-
whatever I've been on here.
But I did get a $25 fine for taking down a old piece of fence and putting up another.
That wasn't under us.
Yeah, no, it was under the state.
The other thing
Ed come and got you?
Ed come.
The other thing I'll say is I did look at some surrounding communities, and we're not more than anybody else, and it
Right.
kind of brings us more into line with what current fees
Yeah.
are for those types of
There's
things.
so much of that people don't know. We've always, we lived out in the, out of city limits and stuff, and we put up a chain link fence out here, and somebody, they called and said, do y'all have a permit? I said, for a fence? I knew to build an addition. I said, I didn't know, I'll come and, it was $10 or 20 something. I said, I just never even thought about that. I knew if I built it onto my house.
It's a residential remodel, is it not in, is that inside?
That would be inside. And honestly,
So we're not-
that's gonna be one of those things, if somebody voluntarily gets a permit for a remodel, if, but if somebody's doing, if somebody guts the
And if
inside.
somebody doesn't like you, we'll get a call.
So, and like the conditional use permit, that's one time only.
That's yeah, so if you get a conditional use, it's a one-time fee, one-time hearing. I think like each year, I'm supposed to go back and
Make sure that,
and follow up. That's the other thing about that program I didn't mention is you can schedule inspections, you can schedule all those kind of things that go into it. And so right now, I don't know when I should be inspecting any conditional use for anything for short-term rentals, for home businesses, anything like that. This would basically, when that case is approved, then it would give you like an annual inspection date, and it would remind me, like, I could set it up for, like a week ahead of time. I get a reminder, hey, you need to go do this inspection. So that's something that program would help with too.
Is this something that will make sure it gets online? All this fees and
Yeah,
everything?
yeah.
Okay.
Once we,
With your new program?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been trying to update the website and have the pertinent information in there and everything, and it's a matter of getting the word out. So I've started posting on Facebook a little bit.
Council, any other questions? Okay.
Yeah, we would like to do some amendments to it, if possible.
Well, okay.
That's
I
Before we
just think-
vote on
I
it.
just think
Yeah,
that
but we don't have a motion yet, so.
the residential addition,
Mhm.
I think we can fairly get to, but I don't see how we'll ever handle this residential remodel.
Okay.
And whether we can fairly do that, maybe
Right.
somebody when everybody's doing it.
Do you want to pass it to next meeting or just?
Well, I'm just wanna.
We're just gonna scratch the $30 maybe.
So that
That's
nobody's
an
gonna,
interior-
I mean, it's just hard to,
Yeah.
I mean, it's too much work to try to.
try to
Yeah.
send you after
Yeah.
every.
Right. Well, like I said, that's more. It's
For
if somebody
$30.
volunteers.
It's
He's
somebody
gonna call
that-
on me and I'm gonna call on him.
And it's somebody that has to be truly honest.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and stuff, so,
Yeah.
like me.
And
Well,
then
it
the
said
last
when
thing,
they- if it changed.
So you wanna take that one out?
That's what they are.
Yeah.
Residential remodels.
Yours off.
Yeah, sorry.
is that okay, Chris? I mean.
That's okay with me. Yeah.
And I think the commercial remodel, we would probably have a hard time with inside.
and
Well,
so
the only thing about the commercial remodel, part of that is the building inspector, and I think if
Well, if
you.
it got that, yeah.
If it has that.
But I was-
Because I got somebody
I
the other
think
day,
even
so
though we
you can see
don't
those a lot of times.
Have a building inspector, I think commercial, they're supposed to have the state inspect. And that's kind of where that comes into play, but if we had a building inspector, then they would need to inspect a remodel.
For they had to have the electric and plumbing and all that.
But
It has to be, yeah.
the other part of that is when you come in and say a building was a beauty parlor, and then somebody came in and wanted to do a restaurant, so you're changing the use from one commercial use to another use. If it didn't conform with the zone district it was in, there needs to be a review of how that use is changing. And so the remodel is when you've got a shell that doesn't change, but somebody may come in and change the use inside, and then could potentially change the parking requirements. They may decide they want to add a drive-through where a drive-through is not allowed or something like that. So with the commercial remodel, I think that is still relevant, just from the standpoint of then. And so if they
Because we call it one.
Yeah.
Process of doing that.
Yeah, so we got one more,
Which
I'd
one?
say we leave the sign fees the same.
$5.
the sign, fence, and demo.
Since I've already been dinged.
At least give you that.
Tom, you need to borrow some money?
Okay, then I have
Well,
one extra thing.
okay.
Is,
So we're
whenever
going-
you change something, people are familiar with this, I guess the public's familiar with this, but are we required to make notification in advance so we can hold them accountable?
Do we need to?
Yeah, it's on
How do you-
Facebook.
Well, they can say, well, I didn't know you changed it, and I didn't know I had to do that. Should we post that in the paper, should we do?
No, we're-
Well, I mean,
Talked about posting online.
the permits that we currently require, we've required for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fees are changing as long as somebody hasn't applied up to this, like if they apply tomorrow or whenever, it's.
Yeah, but I'm saying, are we legally obligated to
No.
notify the public that there's a change in fees?
Well,
And there are-
Or as a courtesy?
we can post it as.
Yeah, we talked about posting on, online, you know, with this new program and everything.
Some degree of notification.
Yeah.
We can do that.
We'll make sure, yeah, I'll do my, like, we can try to get something in the paper and we can, post it on Facebook and I can post it, you know, prominently out front so that people see it. It's, you know, I don't think we're gonna surprise anybody too much.
And when they call in, obviously, they'll
Right.
update it.
Right.
Thanks.
I would recommend, like, if you wanna lower or keep the like the sign fence and demo permits 25, and maybe just change the floodplain grading and the zoning letter to 25 too, just so it's a consistent, we don't have a $5 difference. Is that?
Good.
Yeah, easier.
So,
So we need a motion.
we need a motion to accept with four exceptions, or three? Three exceptions, okay. We'll make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, and a second? Got it. Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion carried. Time for an L8 break? Something.
You got a 6-pack back there in the refrigerator?
10-15's packed, no, anyway. So next is the motor vehicle tax that came to us from the Department of Revenue Office of Proper Evaluation. Did everybody have that? Or you should have it on? You didn't bring it? Okay.
I don't print mine out, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing that.
Did you not send this?
I don't see
Okay.
it
Would you
either.
mind making some copies, please? And then we'll move, we can go on to the, we'll go on to the revenue discussion. You remember last month, we brought up various revenue sources and rest fees, business license, earnings tax, insurance premium tax, motor vehicle tax, and property tax. So we'd just like to have a discussion here tonight with the council as to maybe the direction that we would like to go in as we look ahead to bringing more revenue into our general fund. That's where it's going to be going. These are our only sources, and right now we're getting to the point where it's a real struggle paying our debts or our bills. So we have to do something, and these are our only choices. So council will open it up. All right.
Well, I'll start out with asking the council that's been here longer than I have.
Thank you.
Have we ever had increases in premium insurance tax and motor vehicle tax and all that in the last few years?
No.
Did you know?
No.
Never in,
Yeah, and how do we compare to everybody around us?
like I said, he's 10%, we're 5%.
Same thing
That's
with
a
the
pretty
county.
comparable.
County's 10%.
So-
They went up a couple years ago, I think the county did.
1989 was the last increase in the insurance premium.
19 what?
89, 34 years ago.
That's my senior year.
I was 7.
I was 17.
I love this council. These little pertinent facts I'm
Yeah.
learning.
I ain't saying I
Okay,
know.
so,
I can't say anything.
Opinions on nothing
Okay.
better.
so we've been pretty hard with the.
Everything's gone
with
up
the economy
except with
and with
our income.
with COVID and all that stuff, it's really impacted the price of everything that we have to pay for.
Correct.
It's getting brought to us, so we've had to increase. We really didn't have even an option like with the garbage pickup. I mean, just,
Yeah, well, there's
and we have to
things
pay the
we-
bill. So I want to say that out loud, that we don't take this lightly, to have to
Yeah.
anytime raise any kind of tax, if it's a small tax or a large tax.
Correct.
We have to pay the bills, but we also have to plan for the future. And part of what we're trying to accomplish here is trying to get enough money in the budget that we can sustain an annual raise for city employees. And I think it's important that we do that so that we can, have our best foot forward to maintain employees that work here in all of the departments, and not have a reason to go to the next county over and do all that, like we're talking about other entities that are
Yeah.
having troubles with that as well as us.
My adding to that also would be, we could do projects that we can't do
Well, you
right
need
now.
that rainy day fund, too, you
We
know,
could-
have enough.
Yeah, we could
Yes.
do projects that we can't do right now.
And if we run into trouble where we have, in any department, have somebody sick or injured or something happens, we're gonna have to pay more overtime, and we're only budgeted for 10% right now.
And if you, a couple instances, me and Dixie's been on here, we had a water line bust under the river.
Yeah.
Not counting those, so
$350,000, had we not got emergency money, we would
Exactly.
have
Yeah.
had it.
yeah,
Well,
so
we just had that one, right up there by the,
it's just
when
like
they
at
park
the
and
house.
ride.
It's just like at the house, though, you wanna try to have as much money in your savings you can for a rainy day, because you know it's gonna happen. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
And we always worry about those things, and, we'll still worry about it if we have a good, healthy reserve, but I think we need to build it up. We need to build up salaries, we need to have money to do a lot of things.
Plus we have debts we wanna pay off.
Yeah.
Right, and want to try to
It's
clear
not
off
like
some
we,
of the
the city owes money to people that we're trying to get paid off too.
Mhm.
And that way we can build up more later after,
And I'm trying to think to myself, what are the cons, what's the negatives? And I can't come up with any negatives other than people just don't like to pay taxes. Well, I don't like to pay taxes, but I like to keep the lights on too.
More taxes.
And I like to keep good people that are hired. I wanna keep the
Yeah.
people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanna be able to give whoever needs a raise or whoever needs more money, I wanna be competitive with the different counties. And if we do that, and if Clay City's paying 10%, we should be. If they're already paying it in the town
In
over.
the county
The county
too.
is-
In the county and so
We're the only
we're the only one that's at 5%, then I'm grateful I've only had to pay 5%, but I'm okay with paying, I like everything equal with everybody.
And the earnings tax has been 20+ years since we've been.
I mean, that's a lot,
Yeah.
that's too long.
So
We
anyway,
might not be in this boat and it might not have hurt people, it's probably not, I mean, I don't know what 5% is gonna do to the insurance premiums. How much it will be,
About
$5 on every,
if it's
a year,
$1,000,
yeah.
For the cost of them,
Yeah, like,
$50.
yeah, it'd be,
$50 more a year.
Yeah,
Per
per
thousand.
per thousand.
Per
Per
thousand.
thousand.
yeah.
According to how much your insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on what you're paying.
More you got to pay.
More you got to repay, yeah.
And,
Yeah. I think my insurance tax on my policy is like maybe $78 for my house.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, but in terms of what we're generating for the general budget, general
It's not
funds
just health
is,
insurance.
we'll be doubling that, for what, 300?
Yeah, if we take the insurance premium tax and we increase it from 5% to 10%, we'll gain basically 292,000
Almost $300,000
Yeah.
And that's what Clay City's already
in
doing.
a year.
In
Yeah.
a year.
in a year.
Well, that's a no-brainer to me.
In 10 years, that's $3 million.
Mhm. That's a no-brainer.
But we won't start getting it till next
Yeah,
year.
no.
Next year, right,
We won't
right.
get
It'll
it
start
till-
January
No,
1st.
no, July 1.
July next
You're
year.
explaining about the
Yeah.
April 1 and
Yeah.
all that.
Well,
We have to have it in place before April 1st. correct?
Yeah, this is kind of how the process works. Obviously, we have to do an ordinance which has 2 readings, and 1 reading can be tonight, correct? Okay, and the next reading will be in September. And then it goes to the Kentucky Department of Insurance, and then they will notify all the insurance companies within 100 days of the effective date, which is July 1, 2024.
Which is by law.
By
By
law,
law.
yeah, by law.
And then they take care of it. And
They
then we
take
get it.
care
They send every.
And nobody, I mean, it's just,
It
is
goes
what it
to
is.
every insurance, if you got an insurance with State Farm, they'll
they're
get
just
that.
gonna automatically take it out, and I'm probably not even I mean, I don't even, I couldn't tell you what it is.
You'll know it because your insurance.
My insurance is taken out automatic.
You're not talking about a one-time thing, you're talking about sustainable, that we're gonna get that every year.
Every year.
Yes.
To put towards whatever.
And of
And
course, the more people, if we grow, you
Yeah.
have more vehicles, you
Right.
have more insurance.
What's sad is that we didn't raise it 1 or 2% a few years ago, and 1 or 2% now. That's what's sad about it, because now
Yeah.
we're raising it 5, but it is what it is. I mean, we've had good since 1989, apparently.
Yeah.
Yes, we have, right? So what is the will of the council?
Made a motion, we increased it to 10%,
Increasing which one?
and the,
Insurance
Insurance premium
Yeah, the insurance.
to, from 5% to 10?
to 10.
Okay, got a second on that? All right. All in favor? Okay, motion carried. Okay, now we turn to the motor vehicle tax. You should have that there. Look real quickly. Right now, it is at $18.62, basically, per $100 as of 2023. The most that we can raise it is 4%. That's a limitation, which is basically 75 cents, which would take it to $19.37. We are roughly getting per year $33,000, just a little over $33,000. So it's not going to be a whole lot of necessarily income, but it's on the table, so we'll hear from the council on that.
So what is it now? What's the percentage?
18.6.
It's 18 cents.
1862.
Okay, so we're generating, what we're generating.
We'll generate about $1,300 bucks. Yeah,
Which is not much.
No.
So what would be the cost to the consumer?
4% is all you can raise it, and 4% is what we gave them last year. Last vote.
Do we have to
Has
raise
this-
it the entire?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to raise this at all. No.
Up to.
Well, I don't wanna get in trouble like we did with this and not raise it for 25 years, but if we don't have to raise it,
Has
This
this-
comes through every year.
No, you vote on it
you
every
vote on it every year,
We
okay.
raised it 4% last year.
You did,
So-
okay.
But when's the last time you raised it?
Last year.
I mean, before that, was it every year do you raise it?
No.
No, it's been,
Probably
I don't remember.
8 or 10.
I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
we
been,
did.
8 or 10 years.
it's been a while.
And that's why we went to 4%
Here's
last
the
time, because we
Here's the
had.
situation, and this needs not to escape you. What we're doing when these insurance rates go up, you know, like whatever we paid 30 years ago, that was this rate.
Right.
And then everybody's house insurance goes up. The percentage has remained the same, and each year the city collected more. Same with the automobile insurance, you know, or the tax. The price of these automobiles used to be $25,000 was an expensive vehicle. Now
Yeah.
you've got people driving around $100,000. So you didn't really need to increase it. Your percentage stayed the same, but the value of the automobile went larger. And what we're doing here on both, unfortunately, what we're doing on both the insurance tax on this right here, if we choose to raise it, is we are increasing our percentage.
Yeah.
We're going, you know, and I know the school does that from time to time, but we're going from 5% to 10%. We're going from whatever it is, 18.6. We're taking a larger percentage. So it's, you know, it's not like we've said it for 30 years and not done anything.
Right.
As the price of property went up, as the price of insurance
Sure.
went up and stuff like that, you know, we gained more. But what we're doing here is we're changing the percentage that we're charging.
I think the reason we hadn't before was because where everything else had went up, we decided to not do this. And then
Because
last
we
year
were
we
making-
did because we hadn't before.
Yeah.
So, and like, right now, my vote is not to go up on the car taxes.
And that's the concern you have. Once you raise the percentage, you know, inevitably, you're charging 90% or 95%.
So my vote for myself is no on this because we've had to go up on the other. That's my
Your
thing.
opinion?
It's because we went up on the electric, we went up on the water, the sewer, everything has went up so much. You know, and then we just went up on the insurance rates, so.
Well, this isn't gonna.
It's only gonna be $1,300 a year.
Yeah, it's going from 1862 to 19.
Yes.
37,
That's per thousand, right?
yeah. No,
Per
for $100.
19 cents, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 75 cents basically.
So,
All right, council, any motions or any other discussion before we have a motion?
Well, I'm kinda like Rhonda, I
I'm
think
not
we
gonna
need,
make a motion.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
well,
this
yes.
for,
Not
Well, I mean,
since we went
Stop
up
the
last
motion.
year to leave it alone.
We still need a motion.
We still need a motion.
So we
Motion to
either
leave
to
it
accept
alone.
or reject.
I second.
Okay, leave it the same. Yep, we got a motion, go to second. All right, all in favor? Okay. So it remains the same. Teresa, we pass that along. Okay. Next is the contract for John Skidmore, or Rob as his name. Rob.
We need to go in for a second for this.
We need to go to closed session.
I wouldn't think we need to. He has signed the agreement, looks good. All you need to do is if you have reviewed it, and if you're satisfied with it, just do a motion to approve it and have the mayor sign it.
All right, then we don't need to discuss it because we've already reviewed it.
Yeah.
All right, because I don't want to discuss people's personal.
John's
Well,
John's good.
Right.
It'd be subject to open records request.
Yeah, right, it's fine with me.
But, he's good with it, it looks good, to be honest, you know, I drafted it up, looks good to me, as long as it looks good to you guys and you feel that it's
There's
a
something we
program.
want to discuss in private or anything about it?
No, there wasn't anything on
So,
it. I just don't, you know, I
Do we have a
just,
motion
I looked at
to
it.
accept the?
Accept the contract.
Yeah, sorry, John skipped
Well,
one.
he's retiring, now he's gonna do contract work.
Oh,
Basically.
it's not retiring. I mean,
He would be a contractor.
He's not retiring. He just-
Right.
he's now an independent
He's an
contractor.
independent
Like a
contractor.
self-employed
Okay, all right.
contractor.
Yeah, he's not.
Do I have a motion on that?
benefits, so
And what is his position, just to?
He's gonna be the
Contract
licensed
labor.
water operator, independent contractor. He gets no
Benefits.
retirement, no benefits or anything. So, all right, got it?
Make a
Motion
motion.
second,
I'll second.
okay, all in favor? Okay. Okay, opiate funds, believe it or not, we all were surprised, weren't we, Teresa, to get a check.
much was it?
$1,498.01.
That's just so odd.
Oh, but we got even better news. For the next 15 years.
We get 1,000.
We get.
No, we get, next year you get 2,388.23. And then 2,388.23, I'm not gonna go through all of them. It goes up to year 6, which is 2029, 32,1832. Overall, I added up $42,234.
And this goes to our.
Well, it's however we determine it.
Our last one.
The last went over to law enforcement.
Or Joel, or.
Oh, the, right, yeah.
Drone.
But that was just
Drone.
one, that was one
Drone.
payment.
We don't have to decide anything, I just wanted you to know.
So it's
That's what we're gonna be
flexible, we
getting.
can use it?
We can be flexible.
Nice.
I mean, there are restrictions to it, you know.
Yeah.
Mostly from
Yeah,
drug
stuff like
enforcement.
That's what we want.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm surprised it was so low compared to what the county's getting.
Oh, I know,
Yeah,
Well,
the county's
well.
like 200,000 a year for the next 18 years.
yeah, amazing. I remember it was like $400-some million settlement.
Well, it was just surprised that that didn't get, you know, that we didn't get like 10,000 or, you know, something like that. How they base that?
Okay, the next one is,
Population.
our law enforcement vehicles. We'd like to, this is coming from Grant Faulkner in our police department. I'd like to sell the V6 Durango now at $15,000. And in the future, because we are having some issues with Grant's vehicle, we would want to sell the Dodge Ram at $15,000.
To the county.
Yes, I'm sorry, yeah, to the county, to the fiscal.
So we have vehicles to replace those? Or we have a
We don't
surplus
really,
in the
it's a
fleet?
surplus, yeah.
Okay.
According to Grant.
We already have, we're.
So the transfer's gonna take place to the county, is that what I'm?
Correct, yeah. Grant's right here.
Are we just doing
Hey,
one?
Grant, you have a second to address the
We're doing one right now.
the
right?
vehicles,
Just doing
law enforcement vehicles. We agreed on the V6 Durango now, we could sell that, correct?
Correct, yes.
But you want to keep the Dodge Ram until we can
Good.
see how your vehicle goes.
Good. That's
Okay.
right.
How many surplus vehicles do we have right now? Just that one that we're selling to the
Yes.
county? We only have one extra?
Well, and at the end of the day, whenever, what we sell, if we sell that Durango and we sell that, the truck, then, we'll have one spare car. After we hire somebody and then get, the cars you see out here are either gonna be sold or like I said, we'll have one, we'll have one spare car for case.
Is there a KRS, on how to, do we have to advertise it?
Where are you all at on
It's from government to
No,
government, we don't, if we was gonna sell it to civilian. we
As long as
don't.
you government to government.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And they have passed, fiscal court, I think, passed that.
Yeah, it was
We've
on
sold
there.
trucks to we've sold old trucks to the county.
So
Yeah,
that,
it was
they
on-
already voted on it?
They voted on it
Last night.
last night. No,
Or no,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Eddie and he's in agreement with all.
So that money go into our miscellaneous or to our?
No, it
police funds,
goes,
or-
what we would like, you wanna kinda share what you'd like to do with it?
Yeah, well, yeah, the plan was to sell, whatever vehicles we sell, put on the cost of the vehicles we got. We still got, I think, 3.
The loans that are out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, the loans.
Oh, yeah.
Pay down the debt.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a couple of, they're not common back, there's a couple of things that, a couple vehicles are wrecked, instead of them placing that insurance money back on the cost of the car, and then financing the whole car, putting that money into the general fund or somewhere, so I don't know why that was done, but so we got a little bit of debt on the car we shouldn't have. So it's here, good. I think if everything goes right, we should be able to pay, one, and almost 2 cars off.
With
But
this.
now this one is paid off, correct? One
We don't owe
Yeah,
anything on that.
Yeah, they're debt free.
Yeah, but-
Where are y'all at on your new hire?
Oh, just in the process, we, the next step is, interviews. We've done, we took applications and we've done, POPs test, like a mock POP test, and a couple people failed out. So, we've narrowed it down to, 3 certified and 2 non-certified. And I got one, and we maybe lost a certified guy, so I don't know. Maybe Jake, just went to the sheriff's office, so we maybe got 2 certified and 2 non-certified.
Can I have a motion to, sell both of these vehicles, one now, and then we'll wait and see how the,
I think what we need to do, on this, I think, this is the first I've heard about this, but I think what we're supposed to do by KRS is we're supposed to make a written determination in the form of a resolution that says that this, we're to have to declare it to be surplus property. And then once we do that, we have the reason it's been surplus property, our intended use to do it. I think you all can go ahead and do that tonight, but realistically, I'd rather you do just one right now.
At the time we're
The one that we're actually-
Oh, just one, okay.
I can
Just take
I
the
can
other
fix-
one.
I can fix it up, but I think we have to do it by resolution. We have to put in certain things such as the reason we acquired the vehicle, why it's surplus property, who we're transferring it to, and that needs to be in writing as opposed to just a,
so the motion is the resolution
you-
to go ahead and sell it as surplus property.
Ideally, how soon do we need to do this?
There's no timetable with them,
Okay.
we have no timetable.
Let's do it in September then, because I think what we're supposed to do is do this in writing in form of a resolution as opposed to motion second, and that would give us, make sure we got the eyes and cross the T's. I think it's a great idea, I think everybody's in favor of it.
Yeah.
But in order, I'll give you the statute, KRS 82-083 is the side.
Okay.
But, let's do that, if there's no hurry, we'll do it in September.
Yeah, it's not, I talked to Ed either, not in any hurry. I don't think we're in any hurry. We're good.
We don't.
And maybe we'll know if the Dodge
We don't want our auditors.
Maybe we'll know if your vehicle works, so we can.
Yeah, I just got back, so.
I know, I drove it down here this morning.
Yeah.
We don't need a motion.
We don't need any.
Yeah, we just table it. Next one is, Miss Powell County donation of $100 been requested. Got a motion, second. All in favor? Okay.
Just donate money.
And then, the credit for Powell County Emergency Food Bank, which you've done before, $500. I have a motion on that. Okay. Second. All in favor? All right. good. Then you have your year-to-date July budget. I'll look at that real quick. You've had it for some time, so. Any thoughts, anything?
Well, I think a lot of them probably seen where their one was way off, but that was just a matter of where we
Yeah.
put the insurance on. Just so you know, it's not that
Which-
high over. It's that insurance.
Oh, correct, got it.
We need to split it between partners. She
Yeah,
does it.
okay. Awesome.
Good old ragweeds going.
Have a motion to accept the July year-to-date budget, 20. And second, all right, all in favor? All right. Just one other thing that I at least have. And that's law enforcement commendations. This is coming from Ian, I think you had that, correct? That's sent to everybody, correct? Council, any thoughts, any questions on that?
I'm just surprised that we're already on the books.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, why are we getting this? Because there wasn't nothing about it and it was just there.
But you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did, but I was like,
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the law enforcement commendations?
absolutely.
All right, second. Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Do we have somebody coming up for one of those awards or something? Is that the reason it was brought up all of a
Yeah,
sudden?
Chase,
Chase.
where, we got hurt during that wreck, just, he obviously retired, but that was, that was that wreck. So, but, yeah, he ain't get hurt.
Have a motion for adjournment.
No, we got a few things.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry about that.
Wait, everybody's been
I know everybody wants
Look,
to
you
know.
see this, it's in.
I know.
Miracles, Betty. Just joking. Sorry.
Our security contracts, as far as our, so we need to approve the RFQ, which the board, Parks and Rec board went over yesterday. So all we need is the approval to put out an RFQ.
Okay.
What's an RFQ?
Request for quote.
I hate acronyms.
It's not RS, it's RFQ.
RFQ.
Yeah, request for quotes.
No, we'll probably just get one.
Okay, you want a motion on that?
Yeah, I think we need to do that.
Okay, we need to have a motion to renew the security contract.
No, we need to put out a quote.
Oh, to put out
Put
a
out a
quote,
quote.
sorry.
Make a
Got a motion
motion. Yes.
Second?
We always
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, all right. Anything else?
So you'll put that out?
Yeah, we will put it out. We just,
But just,
the council, we thought the council needed to know. We were putting out a quote. Probably, we usually receive maybe two, but I'd say one will get, but we're putting it out there.
Who did the last one?
Protect's always
Yeah.
did.
Protect has done it before, right?
They've always done.
They've always done it, okay. Anyone
And,
else?
Corn Festival was
Yeah,
big success.
awesome.
Found some things we need to work on for next year, but like we'll at our, we can't handle any more
At our
without
maximum.
electric.
Yeah.
More electric added to the board, so.
Put one on the other end.
Well, yeah, Clark worked diligently to get us a pole and put some 110 down there, so we'll have some more fire down there. They put it in Thursday night. and
Yeah, I know.
I was using it Friday.
You jumped on that right away.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything about the Pumpkin Fest? I know it's tourism, but I've had several people asking me.
We had probably 40 vendors, but last year they set up and
We
they
had
signed
some.
up there.
I didn't get to make the last meeting because I was away. Have they turned in any minutes?
Well, I've got a lot of people asking me, a lot of people
Is
have
that
credit.
normally when?
The first weekend in October is when it's always been, but last year they canceled because the storms were supposed to come.
Oh,
in,
yeah.
And then they didn't, and I've had several people say, you know.
So you have had.
And they were
people-
honoring.
I've had
And
several.
you,
They
you
were
had
on-
people,
Yes, I've
We
had
had
people
them
ask me.
at the Corn Festival.
It's too late to start on them. They'll never be able to put it all together. They started in May
that's when it's
last
in
year.
town.
And people had paid for their tents last year, and they said use it again this year. They had already paid for them, and they said, we'll give you credit for next year. But now there's not a next year,
Or maybe not.
No.
maybe not a next year.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
They voted to refund those people, right?
or you could keep it for the
Or
next
you
year.
could keep it till next year.
Yeah,
Some,
Some
some
of
of
them,
them
just
just said,
did.
some did.
some did.
Some just said, well, yeah.
yeah,
I-
my daughter-in-law, she said, I
I
felt,
wouldn't.
you know.
I have to say this, I haven't heard anything, so, have you?
There's a lot of preparation for a festival.
They're having a meeting Tuesday night.
Yeah.
That's what I heard, it's Tuesday night.
That's their regular meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe
A lot
there'll
of preparation.
be something come up. Well, I'll just convey to them, you know, at the meeting that you've had, everybody's had, is concerned or, you know, asked
And,
about
you
it.
know, we can shoot it out because we had multiple vendors because last year they set up a booth day and they actually signed people up at the Corn Festival for.
Right.
pumpkin
Oh, they
seeds.
did?
So
Oh, okay.
that's what people was trying to do again.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That would've been a great thing, as
It
many
would.
people as we had.
139 booths, you'd have got at least 40 or 50, I'd say.
Easy. Okay. Have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
And a second. All in favor?
Makes a motion, second.
Okay. Thank you, everybody,
Vote on it.
for your patience.
Well,